Hi guys, my name is Finn and I'm here from the Phoenix Initiative Paintball, and I'm here to talk to you guys about what kind of kit I recommend to get started in Magfed Paintball. So, starting out is a bit of an odd one. I think a lot of people go for something differently first in terms of what they recommend, but the first thing that I recommend is boots. Good, solid boots, something that you can rely on when you're playing. And my reasoning is for this. So before anyone goes in the comments and says, boots Finn, congratulations, well done. You've recommended boots for people that want to go and play an outdoor sport. Wow. Well, I'll say to you this. First few times I played paintball, I went to a normal site, I went and got rental gear, and I was playing in trainers. And a lot of the sites that you go to are in forests, they're in fields, they're in adverse terrain. You know, they're not going to be on a concrete forecourt somewhere where you can just run around as if you're at the gym or whatever on a treadmill. You're actually playing on rough terrain. You're playing on terrain that is uncomfortable to walk on. Trainers are not going to cut it. You need some ankle support. And my reason why I choose boots first is, number one, for the ankle support, but also realistically, when you go out and play, the first time you ever play Magfed, you should look to get rental gear. They will supply you with everything you need to get started playing. They can't give you footwear. So it is invaluable that the first time you go, you bring some awesome footwear, because honestly, if you roll your ankle in the first game of the day and it hurts too much to walk on, you are going to have a rubbish time. There are other ways to put that, but a rubbish time is the way that I would put it. You're not going to have fun. So boots are the first thing I personally would start with if I was getting started in Magfed today. The next thing that I would get if I was getting started in Magfed at the moment, I think everyone would think go straight for the shooty, the pow. But actually the next thing that I would recommend is a mask. So again, there's going to be a lot of people who the first thing that they will do when they start playing paintball is they'll buy a 10 quid mask off of Amazon or eBay or just paintball or something like that, and they will avoid buying a nice mask. And you know, I guess that's fine. If you want to go spend your money on a nice marker, you're going to spend 500, 600 quid on a mid to high tier marker, and you want to spend 10 quid on a mask, then go for it, I guess. But the one thing that I'll say to you is, if that marker is 10 quid and it gets shot and it breaks and that paint goes in your eye, or a shard of acrylic goes in your eye, you're going to be blind. There's no way to put that in a PSA that makes any more sense. Your mask is the thing that stops you from being blind. And you can see that two ways. You can see that from a safety perspective. The first one is, if you get shot in this mask, a proper, nicely made mask is tested by government agencies and governing bodies of paintball to make sure that these are safe for you to use on the field. So they will protect you from losing your eyesight on a permanent basis. The other way that you can see it as well is that when you buy a mask, the mask also is your eyeball in terms of perceiving how you play. If this mask fogs up on you during gameplay, you can't play anymore. You're done. You can't shoot any further than 10 feet without it being fuzzy, without it being out of focus. So having a really nice mask with a thermal lens or something similar, thermal lenses are very, very common on masks nowadays. You can get them really cheap, figuratively speaking, in terms of if you're buying a cheap mask, they will usually come with thermal lenses nowadays, a mask in the 50, 60 quid range. If you're willing to spend the money though, a set of i4s or i5s, a Push Unite, Empire EVS, E-Flexes, all of those kinds of masks, they come with, they're more expensive, but they come with this guarantee that they will keep you safe and you will rarely have fogging up incidents. If you want to know more about keeping your mask from fogging up, leave a comment down below. I will make another video about it if there's enough demand. But yeah, I have plenty of tips and tricks on how to keep your mask from fogging up. But yeah, fogging on a mask is a real problem, and also getting shot in the eyes will prevent you from playing paintball ever again, and it will also prevent you from working a job or, you know, driving, you know. So protect your eyesight, guys. That is the top priority. Your health comes above everything else. So after that slightly morbid recommendation, let's move on. What else do you need to get started playing Magfed? I mean, it seems kind of obvious if you've played before, and also I think if you've seen anything, you'll know you kind of need a paintball gun, or as we call it in the Magfed community, a marker, because the paint comes out and it marks someone as opposed to killing them, which is what a gun does. So yeah, just an FYI, if you can, always use the term markers. It's also a lot more friendly if you ever have to talk to anyone about paintball. Oh yeah, we use markers because they mark people. It's much easier. So yeah, you'll need a marker. In my case, I personally at the moment am using a First Strike T15. This is one that I've resprayed. Normally it would have logos and stuff on it, and it would be one of those black rifles that people love screaming about. But yeah, basically, your paintball gun for Magfed, will be something that loads magazines into it, something with detachable box magazines that you can load paint directly into, and that you can obviously reload on the fly. And usually nowadays, markers come with tanks and with a couple of mags, but keep an eye out because sometimes they don't. You should always plan around that, always check what comes in the box of your marker, because it's not always the case that you'll buy a paintball gun or a paintball marker and the first, you know, you'll just be able to set off with it. Sometimes you'll need some extra bits, but generally speaking, they normally work out of the box. Now, what would I recommend to a player that's just getting started in terms of buying a brand new paintball marker? Well, the first thing I would recommend would not be a T15, it would actually be the Tippmann TMC. And the reason why is because it's cheap. It's, I think in the UK you can get them for around 200 quid. I mean, secondhand they'll be cheaper than that, maybe 150 quid. They're really high quality for what they are, which is just cheap, you know. Under the hood, they're the same kind of thing that, you know, paintball sites have been using for generations. So they're proven, they work, they don't break. Are they going to be shooting First Strike, which, you know, you probably won't know about yet if you're playing Magfed, but are they going to shoot it? No. Do they have, you know, long barrels that can shoot out to, you know, 80 yards? No. You know, are they insanely customizable? Enough. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there for them now. But the main thing that they are is reliable, and they will help you kick ass on the first few years of your Magfed adventure, and when you outgrow them, you can keep that as a backup marker for if anything else fails. I have a TMC. I actually bought a TMC after I already had 2 T15s. Get a TMC. If it's your first marker, just get it. The mags are cheap, the marker's cheap. Generally speaking, you can find a bundle where they come with a tank and they come with a few mags, and you can just get started with them for a couple hundred quid, and you are going to be laughing in a few years' time because they will always be in demand, because they're, you know, they're just the workhorse of Magfed right now. Yeah, the next thing then, if you don't already have them, obviously as I've just mentioned, magazines. Generally speaking, the going rate for magazines for different markers is usually between 20 and 30 pounds a piece. So they're expensive. So find a way to mark them to make people know that, you know, that this one is mine, you know, these mags are mine. I usually run between 6 and 8 mags depending on the size of the event. So yeah, have a few of these spare on top of your normal amount just in case you lose 1 or 2, because if you lose them and you can't find them on the field, then you're not getting them back, and you'll have to buy some more anyway, so you might as well buy some more now while you're preparing. The next thing that you'll need obviously is a tank. There are plenty of great tank manufacturers out there. My recommendation is First Strike or Tippmann. They make really good, reliable tanks. Generally speaking, I have not actually had many tanks break. I've had some burst discs go, which are, you know, expected after a few years and a few thousand rounds of paint going through them. But yeah, basically a good tank, a good marker, some good mags, and, you know, enough mags to last you. Don't worry about putting sights on, don't worry about grips and trigger guards and all this extra fun crap that we love tooling around with. The first few games, you should just be focusing on getting out there and playing and kicking ass and really finding your feet on the field, because you can spend thousands of pounds just to find out that you don't like the sport and you're not interested in playing anymore, and then you're stuck with all this kit that you can never get back for the amount of money that you spent on it. So get some good kit, get some awesome kit that is not going to break down, it's not going to be too expensive, and you're not going to just lump loads of extra bits on it for the sake of lumping them on. You want to get yourself situated, you know, you want to walk before you can run. So, what's the next thing on your Magfed paintball setting up journey? Well, you've got your boots, you've got your mask, and you've got your marker, you've got your mags, and your tank. That's a lot of stuff so far. That is 6 whole things that you have to worry about, but there's a few more things that I recommend checking out. So, the first thing that you'll need is a way to carry your mags. Obviously, you need to do reloads. I'm sure probably if you're interested in playing paintball, you'll probably have seen plenty of different movies and TV shows where you've got people running around with guns. You know, you'll have your John Wicks who wear a tight suit and, you know, look like, you know, these pistols and stuff, and he's just doing hot reloads and running around looking very cool. But you need to carry mags around. You can't just summon ammo out of nowhere. So you need to be able to store that. And so that's why the next thing I recommend is a vest like this. This is my Hussar vest. It comes from Poland. This one is expensive. Do not start with an expensive vest. Like I said with you about paintball markers, you can spend infinite amounts of money on things. There are literally, the top end of the market is as much as you want to spend money on, because you can go buy cheap airsoft vests that will literally hold your mags and nothing else, and you don't need to worry about that. And that's what you need to get started with. Get yourself a basic vest, just something that is going to just tick the box of, I can carry my paint around with me while I'm playing. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need to get started. The next stage is getting all the extra fun features and things like that. The one thing I would recommend is when you get started, go onto websites, check out Battle Gear UK. I'm an ambassador for them. Obviously that doesn't make me impartial when it comes to recommending them. But if you are looking for other sites, you can check out Patrol Base, you can check out literally loads of places. Just Google airsoft vest or paintball vest or Magfed paintball vest or whatever. And basically what you're looking for is something that you can carry your mags in. You're looking for anything with AK or AR pouches if you're using, you know, a Tippmann TMC, a First Strike T15, you know, all of these kinds of things. Basically, something that carries your mags. Depending on what kind of marker that you get started with, you may need to buy different pouches. The easiest way to get started, by the way, my recommendation for buying a vest, the ones you want to find are Molle vests. They're M-O-L-L-E. I can't remember what it stands for. If I remember to, I'll put it up at the bottom of the screen. But basically, it's a way of attaching additional pouches onto your vests that allow you to carry more things, or carry things that your vest was not originally designed to carry. So that's what I would start with, is a Molle vest. You can just get a base vest for like 20-30 quid nowadays. I can't remember what the company is, but there's some very cheap ones at Patrol Base. Like you'll find them. They're literally like these, like a plate carrier with just like a plastic sheet in it instead of a physical armor plate. And then basically you can, from there, you can go all the way up. Invader Gear do some really great, I mean, if you wanted to spend extra money, I would pick up an Invader Gear plate carrier, because they're a nice like mid-tier. They do some jump carriers, that kind of thing. And then on the top end, you've got your plate frames and things from S&S and Hussar and companies like that who provide for special forces guys. You know, like I say, you can literally spend a mortgage on this kind of kit. So don't get started spending that much money. Spend as much as is reasonable to you to get started. You can get a cheap Condor rig, you know, like a just a strappy rig for carrying like mags in, for 30 quid. It comes with the pouches attached, you know, maybe 30, 40 quid. You can get a second-hand mask for 50 quid. You can get a marker and all the mags and stuff for about 200 quid, probably including a tank as well. And then hopefully you should already have boots if you're an outdoorsy person, but depending on what kind of boots you want, that will dictate how much you spend. And by that stage, you're already set up. You can play Magfed. That's it. You know, this has probably been a medium-length video for you, but that's all you need. And you can go out and get started. Now, there's one other bit of advice about that. When it comes to getting started, you actually need somewhere to be able to play. Now, if you're in the United States, I'm afraid, sorry, I can't make any recommendations to you. Likewise, if you play in Europe or anywhere outside the UK, I can't give you any recommendations, but I can give you something, which is go look on places like Facebook, Google it on the internet, just look up Magfed Paintball. You know, find Magfed Paintball in your country. There's Magfed all over the world. There are people playing in Yemen, there are people playing in France, there are people playing here in the UK, in America, in Canada, in South America, you know, everywhere. There is Magfed Paintball everywhere. You can find it. You may have to travel a little way to go do it, but you can find it and it's there for you to do. So look up Magfed Paintball. If you're playing in the UK, however, I do have some recommendations for you. OMG Events. I work closely with them. I do a lot of their advertising. They provide big events here in the UK. You're talking hundreds of players showing up, playing some really awesome games. We play in abandoned sites, we play in military bases, like active training military bases. We play in factories, we play in abandoned theme parks, we play, you know, in loads of places. And there are loads more places that we're looking at playing over the course of the next few years. So OMG Events, that's the first place I would look. Look for your local sites. The way you can find local Magfed walk-ons, go to ukmagfed.com or .co.uk. It'll be down in the comments of this video, down in the description even. There is a full map of where all the known walk-on sites are for just Magfed Paintball here in the UK. And yeah, and then basically anything else, find your local site, give them a ring, say, hi, can I play Magfed Paintball? Can I bring my Magfed paintball gun to your normal walk-on? Because even if you're operating against people who are using speedball markers and they're just laying down loads of paint, you would be surprised quite how well you can perform against those players once you've got a little bit of practice under your belt. So that's my recommendation for the kit that I would get if I was starting out playing Magfed Paintball. So I'll leave that there for you guys now. I would love to hear though in the comments down below if you're a seasoned player, what kind of kit that you would recommend picking up. You know, whether that be a specific make and model or something, or if there's something you think I've missed off my list, then do that. Let me know. I've just covered the absolute basics for what you need for Magfed for getting your stuff and going to an event. But I will do a more in-depth list of what I recommend kit-wise overall, and I'll also do a breakdown for you of my own kit and what I run at events. If you want to catch me at an event, I will be at OMG Events Camelot on the 25th and 26th of March of 2023. If you're available, come along. There's currently nearly 200 people going to that event, and it's the first event of the year, so yeah, I look forward to seeing you all there. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've had a great day. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!